Hi, I'm Michael Joy. Welcome to Collage Talk. This is where I sit down and talk about some of the digital artwork that I've made. Children's collections again. The Aura sisters. These are tragic images. You've heard me say before, look at their clothes are dirty in the same spot. It's like they have a job and they keep using their dress for the same reason. It's tragic. And so as an individual image, it doesn't hold a lot. It still looks tragic. But in the collection that I created, my intention was to bring an expression of strength that surrounds these children, even though it doesn't look like it. And so the Aura sisters, their aura or their light is surrounding behind them. Cocoon. Well, cocoons, cotton, silk, it was that kind of a play on this cotton picking, and yet these kids are way too young to be working in a field, in my assumption. I mean, come on. And so I thought, what if they're out in the field gathering butterflies? It puts a spin on what children should be doing versus what they used to have to do. Cocoon. Colibre, that's hummingbird in many languages, and I thought this young girl, she looks like she's maybe 11, kind of just approaching womanhood, and she has this job of collecting this water, and so she kind of buzzed in like a hummingbird pollinating or drinking nectar from a flower, and then she's going to flutter off with this. But she's very clear on what she's supposed to be doing there, and she looks like she's magic in training. Colibre. Cotton man, another young person working in the fields, way too young, and I created his cotton satchel. I mean, look at that, it's huge. I mean, could you imagine that kid having to fill that up? And so we turned it into a cape. I probably extended it in the imagery. And then we gave him some patches, some superhero stuff, and made it look like he was taking off into the sky. Superman, Cotton Man. I was just trying to soften this image. Funny Farm. Along the same lines, you have this very weathered girl. She's kind of in this growth spurt, this gawkiness, where probably her legs are spindly as her arms are, and so I gave these next to these ostrich legs here. There's a lot of kind of willowy stuff here, and yet this farm is not farmed in a normal way. Ostriches? Seriously? Where are we here? It just created a little Dr. Dolittle effect. Funny Farm. Godmother. This is a haunting image. Every time I see it, this little girl looks shell-shocked. I can't figure out if it's what percentage of it is her life that shell-shocked her, and what percentage is the moment where a photographer, which were not common in those days, said, "Stand still, I'm going to take your picture." She may have felt like she didn't know what was happening, but there's tragedy surrounding her. So I gave her the strength of this beautiful godmother. Maybe it's the woman that she grew up into and was able to overcome this very PTSD childhood. If you think about it, these kids, they grew up in the 20s, and in another 20 years, it's the 1940s, World War II. I mean, they carried a lot of stuff with them forward. I don't think anybody that lived through the Depression ever got through it, or lived through this time ever got through it. And it's probably why a lot of fear in our culture has been passed on, because of the trauma these kids took. Grown up, man, I don't know, they had to grow up faster on the streets. They did not have parents. And so this is a little twist on this idea that the sailors used to get these tattoos, the anchor tattoo that said mom. I was like, well, how uncreative can you be? But anyways, it's this little boy standing like a grown man, and he looks like he could get into a lot of trouble. Illiterate. Here this girl is working in this factory instead of being at school, and so her school is the factory. I mean, she's learning, but she's learning something that I wouldn't want a child to have to learn. And yet there's a beauty in this machinery, as though it was these stacks of books in a library. And to a lot of people these days, especially young kids, they don't even know what stacks in a library look like. They're not at libraries. So this puts it together. Working, schooling, education, illiteracy, it's all in a bundle right there. Mini Lisa. I simply took Mona Lisa off of the background, which this background is exactly the same in Mona Lisa. And I just thought, well, this was, somebody grew up into that woman, even though you could say it was Leonardo painting himself, whatever it's about. I like the idea that Mona Lisa is famous, but Mini Lisa wasn't. So it's kind of a, who were they before they were famous? Well, non-famous people didn't usually get painted, so here we go. Pixie. This poor little kid, I mean, she looks like she's either covered in mud or just been so sun-scorched that she's in the fields all the time and doesn't even have the adequate clothing to do it. It's almost like she's in a costume. And so it's a play on the word picking, cotton picker, or tobacco. I can't tell what she's picking. It's not tobacco. And Pixie, a girl playing the Pixie Fairy in the back, what she would like to be doing. I don't even know if these kids knew what a childhood was. They only knew what they were experiencing. I'm not quite sure they understood the contrast. I think they understood the hardship, but not what it could have been for them, a life of ease. Couldn't even think about it. Pixie. thanks for watching. Please remember, it's important to us that you like and subscribe to this video, and be sure to look at the website for more, michaeljoyart.com. Hope to see you there.